The biggest World Cup ever is here. These are the 5 stories you need before a ball is kicked.
Clutch the moment. Clutch brief.
First, the curtain raiser. It begins at the Estadio Azteca in Mexico City. The hosts open the biggest World Cup in history against South Africa, and for Mexico the pressure is as big as the occasion. 48 teams, 104 games across 39 days, spread over 3 host nations. Mexico becomes the first country ever to stage the Men's World Cup 3 times. And they arrive in rhythm. Mexico are unbeaten in 2026, 15 goals scored and only 2 conceded, a +13 difference under Javier Aguirre. Aguirre says the team has been preparing for 22 months, has recovered key players, and that his 26-man squad gives him a wide range of possibilities with no weak spots. The emotional focal point is Raúl Jiménez. He scored all 4 of Mexico's goals in the Nations League Final Four. He still carries the weight of that frightening 2020 head injury, and now he's chasing a first World Cup start. There's history here too. These two opened the 2010 World Cup as well. Sefirot Tshabalala struck first, Rafael Marquez equalised, and it finished 1-1 in Johannesburg. And Mexico love a fast start. They're unbeaten in their last 7 World Cup openers since 1994, 5 wins and 2 draws. And don't write off South Africa. Bafana qualified with 18 points from 10 games, and they did it even after a 3-point deduction, so they arrive battle-tested. There's a succession story here too. Aguirre says his assistant Rafa Marquez has grown into a coach, and that he'll step aside soon enough and let Marquez take over. Next, Lionel Messi. Lionel Messi had been sidelined with a minor muscle complaint before Argentina's warm-up against Iceland. Now the champions' captain is set to feature again. Lionel Scaloni was clear, Messi is going to play, but his minutes will be managed carefully to avoid any kind of risk. Messi himself said he felt great and was eager to play, keen to shake off the fears you get with that kind of discomfort, with a week to get everyone ready for the opener. In that game, he reached 117 goals for Argentina, a national record, and at 38, he became the oldest scorer in his country's history. So the essentials: he's back from the muscle complaint, his minutes are being managed, and Argentina opened their World Cup against Algeria on June the 17th. And the bigger message is belief. Messi calls this a winning group that always wants more, riding a 7-game winning run, though everyone's careful to stress a warm-up proves nothing on its own. Scaloni says his importance goes far beyond goals, not just in the dressing room, but the atmosphere he creates on the pitch is, in his words, something incredible. The form backs the belief too. Argentina have won 4 of their last 5 World Cup matches as they begin the defence of their crown. And Messi is in no doubt. He says it will be difficult for their rivals to beat them because this is a very competitive team. So the case for Argentina is simple. They're the reigning champions on a 7-game winning run, with their captain fit and firing again. Then a shock return in goal. At 40 years old, Manuel Neuer is back in the conversation. He's been named in Germany's 55-man provisional pool, and that alone reshapes the hierarchy Julian Nagelsmann had been building. He retired from international football in August 2024 with 124 caps. Now he's back in the provisional squad with the final 26 due to be named and nothing yet official. Bayern's president Herbert Hainer is backing him on form, not just reputation, and Neuer is coming off another title-winning season. Bayern won the Bundesliga with 89 points, 28 wins and a single defeat. That's the high-performance environment Neuer would be arriving from. But Oliver Baumann had become Germany's clear first choice through the Nations League and qualifiers, and he insists he still has Nagelsmann's trust. And it's worth the caution. Bild's Christian Falk says it's still a rumour that the delayed announcement may be about monitoring Neuer's fitness and about not undermining Baumann before anything is decided. With Curaçao, Ivory Coast and Ecuador to come in the group, whoever wears the gloves matters straight away. The argument for Neuer isn't sentiment, it's pedigree. 40 years old, 124 caps, and arriving off a title-winning season. Bild's Christian Falk put it this way: maybe we'll see another surprise and Manuel Neuer will jump on the World Cup bandwagon after all. And the timing doesn't help Baumann. His Hoffenheim side were beaten 4-0 by Borussia Mönchengladbach, hardly the form to make a number one shirt feel untouchable. And Tuchel's brutal squad call. Thomas Tuchel has torn up reputations in naming his England squad. This is selection by form, not by name, and it's left some very big names at home. Out go Phil Foden and Cole Palmer, out go Harry Maguire and Trent Alexander-Arnold. 4 established internationals, all left out of the 26. Phil Jagielka summed up the logic. It hasn't been a great season for Foden or Palmer. Others have outperformed them at club level, and Tuchel wants to pick on form and chemistry. The numbers back it up. Across their last 5 club games, Palmer averaged 6.8 and Foden 7.1, a patchy stretch rather than undroppable form. Maguire went public, saying he was shocked and gutted, and his family didn't hold back either, with his mother calling the decision absolutely disgusted. Then the headline recall, Ivan Toney. 42 goals and 11 assists in Saudi Arabia, though some outlets count it as 32 in 32, and he's back after barely 7 minutes of international football since Euro 2024. Theo Walcott backed the call, saying Toney is a specialist and that the manager has seen something the rest of us haven't. And there's a platform under all of it. England won all 8 qualifiers without conceding a single goal, the defensive base that lets Tuchel gamble. The Maguire camp was furious. His brother Joe called it possibly the worst decision he had ever seen, with, in his words, no words left. Because the boldness cuts both ways. Tuchel recalled Toney from Saudi Arabia and picked Jed Spence despite a broken jaw. Form and role over reputation every time. Finally, the storm off the pitch. For all the football, the build-up to this World Cup has been dominated by what's happening off the pitch, and a lot of it leads back to the United States. It's the biggest tournament ever, 48 teams across 16 venues in 3 host nations, the United States, Canada and Mexico, and US border politics have followed it inside. The Somali referee Omar Artan was denied entry to the United States and will miss the tournament despite holding valid travel documents. Iran had fans' tickets cancelled and delegation visas refused, switched their base to Mexico, before the squad was later granted visas. Facing the media for the first time in 3 years at the Azteca, FIFA President Gianni Infantino gave a robust defense of President Trump and told everyone to, quote, chill, relax. The referee being turned away at the border, that, he said, was merely unfortunate. And on the eve of kickoff, Michel Platini filed a criminal complaint in Paris against Infantino and 2 former officials, alleging malicious prosecution and influence peddling. These are allegations only, and Platini and Blatter were exonerated by the Swiss courts. The legal shadow goes back to a 2 million Swiss franc payment from 2015, the scandal that engulfed both men before the Swiss courts cleared them. It also put a spotlight on Infantino himself, his first media appearance in 3 years, a robust defense of Donald Trump, and fresh scrutiny over how close the two have become. But after all of it, the visas, the politics, the legal noise, the ball finally rolls. The biggest World Cup ever is here.